Tonight on KGW News, as police and store owners try to stop out-of-control shoplifting.
They know it's pretty much okay to shoplift.
KGW investigates why less than half the Portland cases are ever prosecuted. Plus, pot convictions, pardons. Why Oregon's governor is forgiving thousands of people and dropping millions of dollars in fines. Then later, the Final Four is coming to Portland.
It's really exciting to see everybody in the city step up and support women's basketball.
How the city sealed the deal for a future NCAA tournament. Your news starts now. Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Laurel Porter and we start tonight with another milestone in the way Oregon looks at crimes connected to marijuana. Today, Governor Kate Brown granted a pardon for some past marijuana offenses in Oregon and forgave millions of dollars in fines that went with them. Catherine Cook is here with more on who qualifies. Catherine?
Well, Laurel, this movement is really picking up momentum. A recent Gallup poll shows that 68% of Americans support legalizing marijuana. And last month, after making a similar move on the federal level, President Biden called on governors to issue pardons for those convicted on the state level. It appears Governor Brown has answered that call.
Hop on, look on Twitter, see that the announcement's been done, and then I started getting a text.
Anthony Johnson's phone was blowing up Monday. People buzzing over Governor Kate Brown granting a pardon for simple marijuana offenses in Oregon. It would impact 45,000 people convicted for simple possession of a small amount of marijuana. That's an ounce or less before 2016. Those pardoned must have been at least 21 at the time and must not have had other charges or victims related to that case. Brown will also forgive more than $14 million in fines and fees, saying no one deserves to be forever saddled with the impacts of a conviction for simple possession of marijuana, a crime that is no longer on the books in Oregon.
My response was another good step in righting the wrongs of an unlawful, really unconscionable drug war that has cost too many people their livelihood.
Johnson was the chief petitioner of Measure 91, which voters passed in 2014, legalizing cannabis in Oregon. 8 years later, he says there's still a stigma around the drug and still obstacles around career advancement, housing, and educational opportunities. He finds it a bit ironic
that now the state is generating hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. We're creating jobs and people are making money off of it. To expunge those past convictions is really common sense, and it's the right thing to do, but it's just the next step in moving forward to do this for more and more people.
Just last month, President Biden pardoned thousands of Americans convicted of simple marijuana possession under federal law. He pointed to racial disparities when it comes to marijuana and the justice system.
While white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionately higher rates.
Johnson says those who'll be pardoned are thankful, but believe more must be done.
They know people who have been harmed by these laws that this didn't apply to. They possess 2 ounces, or they're growing 4 plants or 6 plants, and at the time it was legal. But they're definitely happy that this is yet another step in the right direction.
In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. The man accused of killing 5 people at an LGBTQ nightclub this weekend in Colorado Springs will face murder and hate crime charges. The 22-year-old suspect is still in the hospital. 5 people died in the shooting. At least 18 others were hurt. 2 club patrons, including an Army veteran, tackled the gunman, potentially saving many other lives. 2 teens were hurt in a series of shootings in Portland over the weekend, and detectives are still looking for the suspects. The first shooting happened in the Argay Terrace neighborhood Friday night. A 15-year-old boy was shot and badly hurt. A day later, a 17 or 18-year-old girl was shot and found near North Greeley and Ainsworth. Portland police are asking anyone with information to please come forward. And check out this aerial video from Portland police showing the arrest of 3 teenagers accused in a spree of burglaries. They all happened at marijuana dispensaries in Southeast Portland early this morning. In each case, police say the teens used a car to ram through the front doors and get inside. Officers say the teens tried to get away, but police tracked them from the air. Eventually, their car stopped and officers arrested all three. The teens are all 14 or 15 years old. Now to a follow-up on a KGW investigation where rampant theft has driven some stores to reduce their hours or even close, as is the case with the Nike store on MLK. Tonight, investigative reporter Kylie Boshi continues his look at this problem by digging into the numbers. They show that in Portland, most shoplifting cases are not being prosecuted, and the criminals know they can get away with it.
It's 8:58 on a Wednesday morning.
Never know when they're going to wake up.
And shoplifters are already stealing.
But it's insane.
Portland police officers are conducting a retail theft mission to crack down on this citywide epidemic. When suddenly, a suspected shoplifter takes off from the Mall 205 parking lot in southeast Portland in a stolen truck. An officer throws spike strips.
Just spiked it again and lost control. Get code 3 medical. Oh, it's going to go westbound on Burn, but it lost control.
The driver crashes, then goes running, but doesn't get far. She's facing felony charges. Inside the truck,
We found a whole bunch of stolen property from Target, mostly.
police recover a bag full of clothing, tags still attached, along with cosmetics.
But yeah, it's those creams and the nail stuff. I mean, it's worth a lot of money.
The 24-year-old woman admits she sells stolen goods to anybody willing to pay.
The retail brand is $10, you get it for $5. Of course you're gonna want that, you know?
She explains shoplifting is a way to feed her fentanyl drug habit.
I could just be standing around outside smoking a cigarette, and I have people come up to me asking, literally every 9 out of 10 people ask me, hey, do you do blues? Hey, do you need blues? And
blues as in fentanyl?
Yeah, as in fentanyl pills.
There is a direct connection between shoplifting, retail theft, and fentanyl. Is that right?
Yeah.
Citywide, retailers complain theft has risen to new levels in Portland. Shoplifting has become more frequent and brazen. Videos show thieves stealing armloads of merchandise and walking right out the front door with no fear of being caught. This rampant theft has driven some stores to close or reduce their hours. Most retail insurance doesn't cover the losses.
It's an economic impact on especially small businesses.
Stephen Lynn, owner of Under You for Men, says on average, his downtown Portland store is hit by shoplifters more than a dozen times a week. And unlike most retailers, he's not afraid to chase them.
And we had a reputation in the community that you don't shoplift here. Now that reputation is totally gone. They know it's pretty much okay to shoplift. We have to put a stop to it.
So do you think in some ways it's emboldened criminals to commit more crime?
Oh, absolutely. We have situations where a shoplifter will actually just say, you're not going to prosecute me, I'm not going to go to jail.
And in most shoplifting cases, that's true. Data obtained by KGW shows so far this year, the prosecution rate for misdemeanor petty theft cases in Portland, which include shoplifting, is 46%. That means less than half of the Theft 2 or Theft 3 cases sent to the Multnomah County DA's office by police are charged. Most cases are dismissed. And the criminals, they seem to understand they're unlikely to be prosecuted in Multnomah County compared to other jurisdictions. This is an actual recording of a phone call between a woman being held in the Washington County Jail on theft charges and her boyfriend.
Do you want to fight it or what?
Well, I mean, if it was in Multnomah County, like, you would have got released already. It's up.
I know. It's because it's Washington County.
And when this suspect, arrested on theft charges, realized he was in neighboring Clackamas County,
Where are we going?
Clackamas County Jail. You ever been there?
What?
You ever been to Clackamas County Jail?
No.
Well,
I was at, man, where's the line for Clackamas? Oh, man.
I know, you screwed up.
The data shows Multnomah County DA Mike Schmidt is prosecuting far fewer misdemeanor theft cases than his counterparts. In Washington County, the DA has filed charges in 93% of the cases, and police are referring a lot more cases. Clackamas County prosecuted 84% of the petty theft cases.
Why aren't you going after shoplifting as aggressively as your counterparts?
Well, we issue cases that we can prove. That's first and foremost, and that is our focus.
DA Schmidt said the data only tells part of the story. You've also got to look at how many cases were referred by police, the strength of the evidence, and the outcome of those cases.
The numbers are not aligned. Your issuance rate is much lower than theirs.
I could issue 100% of the cases, and that might make you feel better in this interview, right? But that might be disingenuous if you don't know how all those cases end up. Am I losing cases at trial? Are cases getting dismissed down the road? So issuance is a factor, and it's an important one that we should be looking at. But you got to look at every single part of the system.
Schmidt explains those cases that are dismissed are often rejected because prosecutors don't have the evidence they need.
Frequently that means video, if there is video that exists, and any kind of reports from the loss prevention officers. We need all of that information to come to our office so that we can issue those cases.
So what I hear you saying is in some cases retailers are the ones keeping you from prosecuting these cases?
What I'm saying is that we need to make sure all of the evidence is gathered and submitted to our office. We can't find out about it later on down the line.
The situation is further complicated by the fact Portland police often lacks the resources to follow up. Critics complain that Schmidt has made Portland an attractive place to commit crimes, such as shoplifting, without fear of consequences, a notion he flatly rejects.
When you have everything you need to launch the case, we're launching them. There's no policy against prosecuting any of these cases. If we have the evidence we need, we're launching the cases.
Retailers admit theft often goes unreported. The problem has become so bad, they don't even bother calling police.
The current system's broken.
All too often, shop owners say the criminals know they won't be stopped. And even if they are, odds are they won't be prosecuted.
Well, that is distressing, isn't it? That was Kyle Iboshi reporting. If you have a story for our investigative team, email investigators@kgw.com or call our tip line. Here's the number, 503-226-5041. You can also check out Kyle's previous reports on the shoplifting problem. It's all on kgw.com and on our KGW YouTube channel. Really worth watching.